In just the last 3 months, we generated over $1.4 million for this partner right here. And I'm going to be showing you absolutely everything of which we have done, as you can see right here. Okay, we have an over 80% average show rate across the last 3 months. We've generated over $931,000 USD in revenue, which is about 1.5 million Australian dollars, which is my currency and cash collector. We have generated well over $600,000. Okay, this screenshot was roughly about $15,000. And again, I took these screenshots a couple days ago as well. So it's actually a lot more. Every sales statistic that you're looking at is actually a lot more to date. Okay, this person had 14,000 followers at the time when we first started working with him. He now has 20,000 followers. His best month ever was only $71,000. That was his best month ever on his whole entire offer. We came in and we've absolutely fucking smashed it within the last 3 months. You can see here, we've had days of 35,000 cash collected. We've had very consistent days of $19,000 to $14,000, as you can see right here. Again, then another line of very consistent $5,000 to $6,000 to $7,000 days on an offer to where he only had 14,000 followers. No marketing, no financing, selling to Singaporean people, and B2C. Again, I'm going to be showing you everything. What's also cool is in the last 12 days, we've had a 100% show up rate on our calls. You can do the authentication yourself, feel free to take a look, but a 100% show rate on these calls, okay, which is absolutely crazy. You can see that right there. Okay, and I'm going to run you through absolutely everything, so buckle in, grab some popcorn, take notes, and let's scale this motherfucker. Okay, first things first, I made a video a couple months ago where we absolutely blew up his business. This was on the first month, I think we started working together. And I'm just gonna run through it a little bit and I'm gonna show you a couple of the newer things we've added within the last couple months. First things first, you can see here before, his best month was about $68,000, his best day was $8,000, and his best week was sub $20,000. Afterwards, his best month was over $230,000 USD cash collected. Best day was $35,000 and best week was $110,000. So these are a couple of things that we did when we first started working with this partner. Okay, first things first, there's 2 different pillars that you want to look at. Is the outside, so what happens on the outside of the business, which is the content and things like that, and then what happens internally, so the hiring, the sales, stuff like that. And I'm going to share both of them with you. First things first, we started daily training with the sales reps. Okay, if you want to make more money, I cannot emphasize enough, okay, that you need to be doing daily trainings. And if you can't do it, then hire someone to do it. Okay, I have a sales manager which goes on to all of my offers. He's an absolute god. Okay, and he does the daily training for us, which is why we have an 80% show rate and a 70% close rate on average, because we're doing daily trainings, not trainings every couple of days. Okay, next thing is pricing. He was only charging a couple $100 to $1,000. Okay, we came on, we started charging $3,000 and we changed that within the first 24 hours. Okay, like literally one of the first things that you can do right now if you want to scale, you want to make more money, charge more. Okay, for example, let's say I charge $1,000, I need 3 people to make 3 grand, but if I charge 3,000, I only need 1. Okay, so now do the math in the entire month. You go from needing 500 people to sell to, which is impossible, to only needing 150, which is still pretty impossible, right? But you get the idea. Right, the next thing is that we implemented systems tracking and EODs. Okay, so we actually made it so the sales reps that were on the offer had stuff which would keep them on the offer. Okay, we've never had a sales rep leave us, and it's because we do daily trainings and we give them the things that are needed. Okay, if you are not making data-driven decisions, then you're not making good decisions. Okay, so one thing that I noticed that everyone normally does, like the beginner growth operator bullshit, or just normal coaches or consultants or whatever, just when people get into business, they make decisions based off emotions and what they see and what they feel like, rather than only making decisions based off of the data, which is all we do. Okay, and then the booking page, which I'm going to show you because we made it even better. But again, I just want to quickly run through the first couple pillars, and then we'll look at the fun stuff, which is the emails and the landing pages and stuff like that. Okay, next for the outside. All right, first thing you need to ask is, why the fuck is it so hard to buy? Okay, so one of the first things that we did when jumping on the offer was we made it easier for them to go from A to Z. Okay, this is literally like, for example, if you go to the grocery store, right, like the things that you need is probably right there. Like it's fucking right there. It's not 50 kilometers away, right? It's the exact same here, okay? The easier it is for someone to buy, the more they are going to buy. I'm just dropping absolute fucking value right now because I want you to make a lot more money. So when you look at an offer, the easier it is to buy, the more people that are going to buy. I'm gonna leave it there. The next thing we did was we said, fuck a website, we're just gonna have an application form. Okay, so a lot of people, they will have a landing page, like a VSL landing page and all that other bullshit, and they're making like $5,000 a month. Well, that's why, because a landing page is only there to stop people going through your funnel, not get more. Okay, your landing page is a funnel, okay? Like I'll literally show you, I'll paint you a picture. It's a funnel, okay? And there's gonna be leads that fall through, but there might only be a couple that actually go through that funnel because again, your landing page is to DQ people. Okay, it's to essentially say, these are the people that we wanna work with, we don't wanna work with the other 80%. Okay, that's what a landing page does. But if you're not making that much money and you don't have that many leads, then you don't have time to sacrifice. So I would get rid of the landing pages completely, which we did, and we only had an application form in his bio, okay? This is an image of the sales process cycle of which I mentioned earlier that we want to make it shorter rather than longer. This is what most people do, okay? Their sales cycle is long. Right here, you can see our sales cycle, right? It's literally exactly like this picture. Think about your sales cycle like a customer path. What is this, like, do they go through mountains and hikes and rocks and fucking rivers to get to your offer? Or is it just, hey, here's the application form, fill it out, book a call, okay? And then we also did major content shifts as well. So we went from doing motivation, inspiration content, music videos to producing really good value content, okay? A couple other things that we also implemented as well was webinars, which I'm going to talk more about in a second and actually show you those webinars, okay? We did $70,000 in May with just a book a call funnel. And then we did the rest of the money and we ended up doing about $232,000, okay, cash collected. We did about the rest of that money in the webinars, okay, and they're called lump sum plays. Okay, so before we even get into the real big boy shit, make sure you got this shit sorted, okay? Now let's take a look over here. So this is where it gets fun. And let me actually go through it. So we'll go from right here. So as I mentioned, we had a lump sum play. Now I'm essentially just going to be telling you the absolute diamonds of how we've been able to generate so much money in such a small amount of time. And it's called lump sum plays. If we take a look here, these are our dashboards, okay? And as you can see, the blue is cash collected and the orange is revenue, okay? If we take a look here, we can see this is when we did a book a call funnel. Okay, you can see it's very, very stagnant. Okay, very, very stagnant. You can see here, we've got a massive month. It just absolutely, and it's so late as well. Normally people have a really good start and then they die off. We normally have an okay start and then it goes absolutely bonkers towards the end. You can see here, big play, big play. And if we take a look here, this is when we did the book a call funnel, so the normal funnel, and then you can see here, big play, big play. And if we take a look down here, you can see here, this is when we did over $200,000 in a single month. We did days where we made no sales. This was the book a call funnel. And then we did bang, $35,000 day, and then a $19,000 day. Okay, so that's just to show you the actual lump sum and why it's called lump sum. Okay, if you want to make money easily, run a book a call funnel. If you want to make a shit ton more money, okay, well, with it being a little bit harder, okay, and you want to take your shit seriously, mix it. Okay, it should be a combination Okay, think about if you're going out to war back in the day. They wouldn't just go out with a sword, it would be effective, but they would die. And they wouldn't just go out with armor and no sword, it would be effective, but they would die. Right? So they go out with both, they pair it together and the combination works. Right? The exact same here. Okay, so if you find that you are very stagnant or you're making the same amount of money over and over and over again, maybe implement a lump sum play. Now let's go through it. So this is my process. So book a call funnel. Okay, we run a book a call funnel from the start of the month. So this is the start of the month right here. Okay, we run this book a call funnel all the way until the day of the webinar. So the webinar, let's say, is on the 20th. Okay, so we run a book a call funnel all the way to the 20th. On the 20th, we will have the event, okay, the webinar. Okay, on the 21st, we will do a book a call funnel, and we will do that all the way until the 27th, when we have a follow-up webinar. Okay, and then we have the follow-up webinar on the 27th, and then we'll run a book a call funnel from the 27th all the way till the end of the month. So you can see here, it just works so perfectly. Okay, so I'm gonna go through this again. You run a book a call funnel, so your application form, from the 1st of the month until you have the event, okay, which in our case is normally on the 20th. So we will have the book a call funnel from the 1st to the 20th. We will start promotion for the event 7 days before the event starts. Okay, so 7 days, but we still have the book a call funnel. Okay, so that's how we're making our money. We're just getting people into the event via CTAs and stuff like that. So we run the book a call funnel from the 1st to all the way to the 20th. On the 20th, we will have the lump sum play, as you can see right here. Okay, and then what we do, so this is where it gets technical, on webinars, you're not gonna get everyone over the line. There's still gonna be so many more people that wanna buy it, but they didn't quite get sold on that event. So you have a second follow-up event to sell them even more. And this is what we do. So we have the event here, okay, and then we have, again, the book a call funnel, okay, and then you have your follow-up event 7 days after the first event. This gives the closers enough time to go through all of the prior calls that they had, and it gives you enough time to do your emails and stuff like that, okay? So this is how we made the majority of our money. Okay, obviously you can see we made lots and lots and lots of money from our book a call funnels, okay, which is just essentially passive income. But you can also see on every single play, the big lump sum has always come from the event. Okay, I'm going to talk more about the landing pages and stuff like that in a second, but again, I just want to explain to you a little bit about the actual funnel that we use and how strategically beneficial it is for us, okay? Next thing here is the content document. So with every single person that I work with, they get a dedicated content document and a full offer document. As you can see here, this is a full offer document. And essentially on this document, it has everything that needs to be posted. It has Instagram stories, what Instagram stories need to be posted, on what day, what days are CTAs, what days aren't. It's got every single day and what content needs to be posted on every single day. Every single day is super strategic. Okay, something that I realized going from making a lot of money to making lots of money with a lot of the people that we work with, or all of the people that we work with, which is why we get these insane results, is because we don't think about the month. We don't think about it as, okay, I want to make 100 grand in 30 days. We say, okay, I want to make XYZ every day. Or if you want to get a little bit longer, every week. Okay, so it makes you value your days more so you can make the most of your days rather than trying to say, yeah, I want to make 200 grand in a month and not even know where to start. Okay, so we make a full content document and I'll show you a little bit about that here. First things first, it's got the content that needs to be posted for the webinar. Okay, because there's a lot that goes into a webinar. There's the back-end automations, there's the emails, there's the sequences, the landing pages, the content, the CTAs. On our event that we just did last month, we had 300 people show up and we had 105 book calls, which was our biggest ever. In May, for comparison, when we were a little less experienced, we had 700 people show up and we had 85 book calls. So we had less people show up last month and we booked a lot more calls. Okay, so it goes to show you that there really is levels to this. Okay, and you can also see here, these are all different documents. So throughout the last couple months, every single month, I've essentially redone and made it better and improved a content document for every single month. And I'll show you right here. So this is one of them. This is another one. You can see here, this was for July. Okay, you can see here, this is another one. This is another one. This is actually our most recent one that we have implemented. Again, you can see them right here. And then this is another one. So this one was actually for June. Okay, so if you're wanting to make as much money as possible, you need to be strategic. I cannot emphasize that enough. I know it's boring, but you need to be strategic. And you also need to constantly be upgrading the content and what you're actually putting out. Okay, so this is again something that allowed us to make a lot of money, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good our sales process is if we aren't getting people through that sales process, which is why content is so important. All right, so the next thing that we did in order to make $1.4 million in the last couple months is we implemented daily emails, literally daily emails. Okay, what I'll actually do is I'll go a step further and I'll show you the convert kit, and we'll literally go through the emails together, and I'll show you just one of the emails that I've made. So as you can see here, this is the convert kit. This is what I like to send emails of. I do not like GHL, Go High Level. I think it's very bad. We recently just sent out this. This is why it is a 10%. And I need to schedule some more, but let me just show you a couple of it. So you can see here, show up rate averages about 25 to 28%. We had really, two really good ones here where we had a 40 to 47%, which I'm doing a lot of research on those two emails that I had made. But essentially from the beginning, his show rate was like subs 8%. And then throughout the last couple months, we're bringing it to an average of about 25%. Okay, now I do all the emails personally. Okay, and again, I do this, and we do this as a company for all of our partners. Okay, so let's just go through. We'll actually go on to our best performing one, shall we? One of our best performers. So here, and I'll just show you and I'll run through the thought process. So 5 things that kept me broke and 4 that made me rich. Again, this is B2C, and you need to know your audience, okay? First things first, name, make it personable, okay? And I always like to start it off with the money. 220 grand, 100 grand, 50 grand, 60 grand, right? What gives people that instant dopamine when they're reading, right? Think about that. Okay, so let's go through it. Nathaniel, okay, made $224,000 in the last 30 days. But let me tell you about all the stupid shit that kept me broke for years. I made a whole tier list of things that either destroyed my success or built it. And honestly, some of this might hurt your feelings. Okay, so we're like intriguing them. What's going to hurt my feelings? Or is this going to hurt my feelings because I'm stuck and I need to see this? Okay, get some thinking. Again, something you also see is our emails are very long. Again, this is B2C, keep in mind. This is like a B2B looking email, right? But at the end of the day, I like to give a lot of value, and I want to make sure that when people consume my emails, they want to buy. So they aren't little petty bullshit emails. Okay, this is also why a show-up rate, or an open rate, sorry, of 25% is really, really good, because every email is super long, which means that when people are clicking, they know exactly what they're going to get. Okay, things that kept me broke. Okay, and then what I did, so when I made this email, I actually went onto his YouTube channel and I looked at one of his videos. Okay, and then what I did with that is I went over here, and you can see I've got these made. Now this is essentially an AI that I use. Again, I basically connect all the data and information that I have of that partner. And then I got the YouTube video, I connected it to this, and I basically said, give me all the information from this video. Okay, I then got all that information, I then put it into the email. That way, I still had to work for the email, but I didn't have to try and come up with some bullshit that I don't know. Because you've got to keep in mind, I am not him, I am not the partner. which can make it extremely hard for content. So doing things like this makes it a lot easier, and we get the better results because of it. So this is just all information from that YouTube video, okay? And it's in his tone of voice. What happens a lot when people are copywriting is they make it like so bullshit, right? They either talk in their tone of voice or try and talk in the other person's but don't know their audience. You really need to get it down to a T, and you can see here, I'm able to have it in his tone of voice because I've basically got YouTube videos and Instagram and content from years ago all the way up until now. So this AI is essentially better than him, okay? Ding, ding, ding. And then you've got here things that made me rich. You can see that. And then the real lesson. Everything that made me successful was about self-improvement. Nothing on my best tier had to do with money directly. Okay, it was all about becoming a better version of myself. The money followed the man I became. Okay, powerful shit. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, again, we know our audience. First, fix yourself, the money will follow. Okay, this is something that people need to do more within content, emails, whatever. You need to put it in their brain what you want them to know. Okay, so if you want people to buy your coaching program or your offer more, you need to be telling people in your videos, if you want to be rich, you need to learn to take more risks. You need to invest in yourself. So you're telling them that they need these beliefs for you. Okay, so that's a little bit of a psychological thing here. Okay, and then the name, and then I always have a PS at the end. That 224,000 last month, it came because I became disciplined, focused, and surrounded myself with the right people, which is Rayston. Change your habits, change your life. Okay, so this is just one of the emails. We do them daily, every day, and we have for the last couple months, okay? Again, I really hope that was helpful because, yeah. So the next thing is the actual landing pages. Okay, so we had changed and implemented so many more landing pages since when we first started working together because we have a lot more hires than we did before, so we can produce better landing pages, okay? But this was his landing page before. Okay, this is what it looked like before. And this was good until it wasn't. Okay, until I invested in the company. I hired someone that was better than me tenfold at this. Okay, and now we get better landing pages, which I'll show you in a second. So this is the post-booking page, and I'm gonna show you more of it in a second. Okay, this was our webinar page, which I'm gonna show you more of a second. Okay, right, so let me show you here. So first things first, this is what the old landing page looked like. Very shit. Like, I'm just gonna be completely honest, this is very, very bad. And we'll go through it, right? And then it will then take you to the Zoom. The issue with this, okay, which is why I wanna show you this, is this was for the webinar. Now, the mistake that we made on the webinar was we had multiple steps, okay? Because we just didn't think about that this was the exact same as what I was mentioning earlier, where you wanna make it as easy as possible. So before, for them to get the webinar, they needed to click the link, then they got taken to this page. They would then read all this information. They would then click this button, put in their email. Okay, they will then get taken to this page where they then again have to click this. And the reason being was because when they filled out this information here, we would then get their email, okay? And then the button down here was to actually get the Zoom link. So there was 2 or even more steps that they needed to go through, okay? But we changed that completely and we made it just one step. And this is what that looked like. So, and like I mentioned, it was a total fuckery. So to just get this at this point, we needed all of this. So we made a form, okay? And then we then connected that form to ConvertKit. They then filled out that form. That form was then connected to an automation, which then connected the form to another form. And then that form was connected to an email sequence, okay? And then that email sequence and form was connected to this automation. And then when someone fills out the form, they then get the email. Like, it was super difficult, but we changed it completely. and we made it 10 times better. So as I mentioned, our most calls that we booked was 85, but since we made these changes, it went from 85 to 100 and 305, okay? You can see here. So when someone, I'll actually show you the landing page right here. So this is the webinar registration page, okay? Just let it load. This is exactly what it looks like, okay? It has all of this, it's super clean in comparison to this. Look at this shit, right? You then click the reserve, you then put in your email. All right, let's just secure our spot. Bang, that's it. Okay, so all I had to do on this one was put on my email once, and that's it. I literally do not have to do a single other thing, okay? Because I have a lot of back-end stuff now. So as you can see over here, okay, we have over here, okay, this is what it looks like, okay? And this is what it looks like here. So as soon as they give us their email, that will then trigger the webhook, which will then create that person as a contact. They will then get added as a tag, okay? They will then get sent a confirmation email. So with the one click and submission, they're getting sent the email when before they needed to fill it out like 2 or 3 times to get the same email. So already we've taken it back like 2 steps by doing just a couple more things on the back end. Okay, and then what we did was, again, this is all just an automation. It then added them to a workflow. And in that workflow, okay, we sent them emails. Okay, and we sent them a lot of emails, okay, leading up to the event. Again, something that we didn't do over here. Before, I was manually sending emails to the webinar. On here, I made it so it was all automated. Okay, and then they just got a ton of workflows, as you can see here, all the way until the end. Okay, so before, we needed to click the button like 3 times, and we only got sent 1 email. After that, it was all manual. This one, they only need to fill it out once, so it's easier. They get everything that they need, and then they get all the emails leading up to it, which will increase, not necessarily the sharp rate, but it increases when people come on, how ready they are for that webinar. Are they ready to purchase? Anything, any objections that they might have, we cover it in the emails. Okay, so that's just a little bit of a quick overview of a couple upgrades that we had. Now let me show you a couple of our pages. This is our post-booking page. Now this is how we have an 80% show rate. Okay, you can see this right here. This is the VSL, okay? And I'm gonna go through this a little bit more. Right, so first things first, VSL, keep it small, no longer than 2 minutes. Simple. First things first, steps. You always want to have steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, tell people what to do. Step 2, what a lot of people do on their booking pages is, hey, you know, go to your email, reconfirm the call. Well, again, we want to make it simple and easy. So we literally put the email right here, so they can literally click on Yahoo, for example, and then they get taken straight to Yahoo, and then they can just confirm their call within 2 seconds. Right here, we have what is called FAQ questions. So before the call, we answer every commonly asked question that they have. Okay, that way the sales closer can just close deals rather than doing a bunch of discovery and bullshit, okay? Another one of our pages, I just showed you the webinar, the confirmation, and both of the post-booking pages. So that is essentially it, okay, for those landing pages. So that's how in the last 3 months, we've been able to generate over $1.4 million. I hope that this video helped you. Okay, feel free to watch this video as many times as you want. Again, why am I doing this? I am doing this, 1, to hire really good sales talent and just good talent for Dynamis in general, because we are always hiring. We work with some of the biggest people, some doing 4 million a month. We've got a guy that we just started working with where we took him from 0 to 40 grand. We've got guys like Rayston, which are consistently doing 150 to 200 grand. And we're about to do ads to get to 1 million. We work with a lot of these big guys, and we are constantly hiring sales reps. We've got reps that are making 30 grand a month, 20 grand, 15. We've got an appointments that are making like 15 grand a month, which is pretty dope. And then obviously the second reason is if you are, well, if you've got an offer, or you are a coach, or you have something that you sell, whether that be SaaS, BizOp, B2B, whatever it is, okay, and you want help scaling, there is an application form down below. I'll be completely transparent. We are very, very full-ish at the moment, but we are making a couple more hires to kind of be able to grow our portfolio and work with more people. So if you want me to take a look at what you have and have a conversation with you and potentially work on you and help you scale and grow, then just fill out the application form down below. Okay, there are many more videos. There's a lot of videos like this on the page with all different creators, some in trading, some in fitness, some in agency. Right? We do this, well, I make these videos a lot because again, I just want to provide as much value to you guys as possible. But being said, go make a lot of money and change a lot of lives. I'll see you guys in the next one.